Hey all, and welcome back to Fuzzy Dutcher Gaming, and the next installment on the Tornado Shot SSF character. I was going to just bring out one last video in the series, but I managed to achieve a couple of big milestones. I've still got 5 hours left on the clock before the 24 hours that I wanted to spend on the character, so I thought I'd bring out this part and then we'll do a final part later on. So I actually got the Searing Exarch invitation really early. It was just over 16 hours of play. I was all ready to then go on, collect both my Void Stones, and give me sort of 6-7 hours of decent mapping time. Unfortunately, the character and me were just not up to the task and I bricked the fight. I made some tweaks to gear and then attempted it 2 more times. Once with the same setup, again I failed. Third time as Lightning Arrow and Barrage support and failed again. Lightning Arrow felt like it had better DPS, but it's really difficult to sustain the DPS because if the boss moves then you're not going to hit with any of your barrage, so that's basically 0 DPS. So overall, I think Tornado Shot was more DPS because it was more consistent, but both of the setups were kind of not going to be good enough to get the fight done. So after I bricked 3 fights and wasted an hour, I decided to focus on Eater. This one I find the fight easier. I have about the same health. Eater, again, moves around a lot, quite difficult to target as an attack build, but the invuln phases are easier than the ball phases. So that one I got done. I think I did lose 3 or 4 portals just because my DPS was so bad I had to take some risks and maybe try and tank some hits or stand in tentacles and hope they missed me because I would have been 20 minutes doing the fight. So with a couple of portals left, I got Eater down. That gave me my first Void Stone, and that's probably good enough to go and start completing my Atlas because that, along with the map nodes I had on my tree, should allow me to get enough map dots to be able to complete my Atlas. The issue I have is that I don't have enough Varlorbs to do that. Now, on the way to completing my Atlas, I also picked up most of the Harvest nodes, most of the Expedition nodes. I've got all the Essence nodes. I've taken Corrupted Strongboxes and Shrine nodes. So I've got a nice, decent Alchemy Go tree. And like I said, I could have gone back to mapping as 1 Void Stone would be enough, but I had a grudge match to settle with Mr. Searing Exarch and I wasn't letting him beat me. So what I did was reviewed my POB, had a look, what can I change, what things can I tweak to get more damage. And one thing I noticed when I looked at the footage is that Searing Exarch just didn't stop doing his mechanics. It was one fire attack after another, and I just never got any time to DPS him because I was constantly having to move out the way of either his abilities or his ground effects. Now, I looked up a couple of videos on YouTube and a previous fight Ardad as a melee character, and he very rarely did any mechanics. He just auto-attacked all the time, and you can stand there and DPS him. And what I noticed was if you're a ranged character and you're out the range of his melee, he obviously won't try and melee, but he won't stand there doing nothing. So he'll just automatically cycle through all of his encounters. And that caused me no end of problems because I just had no time to get burst damage. And also it made timing attacks with Vile Haste and all my flasks practically impossible because every time I popped everything, I then got a degen underneath me or he shot fire at me and I had to move. It doesn't help that I was on a 5 link. My gear is okay, I would say at best. But I want to see what I have to do to get these Void Stones down without going to a 6 link and in an SSF environment. So what I need to do was have a look at a solution, and it was pretty simple, and POB again backed up the fact that this was the way to go. I needed to ditch Fast Shot, take Focal Point, and then take Point Blank again. Now I will say I don't think Point Blank is that great for mapping, but for bosses, to me it's out and out better on bad gear. Fast Shot sounds, in theory, really good because you get your distance, you shoot a long way away. But with Tornado Shot, the further you stand away, the more spread your projectiles are, and the less likely you are to hit them with multiple projectiles. So yes, you're getting Fast Shot, and you might be getting 50% more damage when you hit them, but you might hit with 1 projectile. Whereas with Point Blank, you can pretty much guarantee hitting with 3 projectiles. So that is definitely the way to go. POB backed it up, and the fact that the fight was twice as quick backs it up as well. So if I do League Start, a bow build, or I do another run, I'm not taking Fast Shot until much, much further down the line. Now, unfortunately, because of all the tinkering around, I wasted quite a lot of time, and it wasn't till just under 19 hours that I had Exarch and Eater down. And I'm a bit annoyed because it could have been around 17 hours if I would have just spec'd this way straight away. But it doesn't matter. This is a practice run. It is what it is. It helped me get some better map completion. I'm now at 83 out of 115. I've still got just under 5 hours to go. So I've got no issues that I can clear my Atlas. It's just whether I get that many Varlorbs. And then what I thought I would do was just do one more map, try and get a bit of currency, and obviously the inevitable happened. I dropped a 6 link bow and I dropped a 6 link body armor. Oh, that's nice. Temporal bubble and magma barrier, that's about the worst. Oh, nice. I'm not complaining. It just would have been much better if it happened a couple of hours because I wouldn't have needed to do the respec realistically. Basically, was going through a map and then a combo of Magma Barrier and Temporal Bubble turned up. For people that don't know, the combination of these mods adds maximum sockets to every item and every item is fully linked. So as long as you drop a body armor, you're going to get a 6 link, and a bow, you're going to get a 6 link. I didn't drop the perfect colors for chest, but one was strength and energy shield, which I can definitely use. It's not ideal, but I'm going to want 2 blue, 2 red, and 2 green sockets as my final links. Very easy to roll on that chest. So the bow I dropped, it's not an ideal base, but it's good. It's basically the same archetype as spine bow, but the one below. The only difference is I lose a bit of physical damage, but I don't scale it anyway. So I've now got a 6 link bow and a 6 link body armor that I've already equipped. I'll obviously need to re-roll my implicits on it because I got really lucky on my old chest. And at the moment, I can't respec into crit because I don't have the regrets to do that. So for now, I've just stuck in and added lightning, which will level up because it gives me some extra damage. I'm going to grind some regrets and then we'll respec into crit. We'll get a diamond flask. We'll take all the crit nodes that we can. And I'm pretty sure we'll be about 60 to 65% crit chance, which is definitely better than precise technique. It means I can also start scaling up elemental ailments, so get some decent shot, get some really big chills, and then just make the build feel much more comfy. So I've recrafted my chest. It's not great, but it's fine for now. The bow is a different story. I'm going to need to grind essences for a couple of hours. So I think I'm realistically going to have maybe 3 hours to complete my Atlas once I've got the character going. However, this isn't a setup I need to continue. I could happily carry on with my 5 link and I'll be able to clear my Atlas, but it wouldn't feel particularly comfy. And I'd feel a bit like I'm wimping out. I've got this luck that I've had these 6 links drop, so let's use them. Let's try and get to crit, and let's see how good this build can get within 24 hours. That's it for this video. It's really just to update you. So yes, you can get your pinnacle bosses down on a non-crit 5-link tornado shot, but I would not recommend it. It wasn't fun. As you say, it took 3 bricks of a fight. It took a lot of working out mechanics. And if you're someone who doesn't know as much about a build, I'm not sure you'd be able to do that. Like, I've played Tornado Shot 3 or 4 leagues in a row. I played Deadeye a lot. I played Ranger a lot. I know that side of the tree. I know what works. So I knew what I needed to look at to try and maybe push things to get the damage to get them down. I wasn't bothered if I used all 6 portals. I just needed to get those void stones. And it wasn't an enjoyable experience. However, the mapping really is. It feels quite good on a 5-link. I've got to 89. Pretty sure I'll comfortably get to 90. So in trade, I think this build could work pretty well. You can have access to just buy your own 6-link, get some essences, craft a bow, get to crit, get the bosses down. So if anyone's interested, I've got a massive series on the channel that takes Tornado Shot through in a League Start trade environment. The way I did the playthrough is I didn't use anything other than what I picked up. And any currency I made, I could buy stuff with, but only at League Start prices. So the time I made the video, 6 links were 5 chaos, but at League Start, they're 60 or 70. So I put those sort of stipulations in that I can't buy a 6 link until I've got 70 chaos. I can't get a 5 link until I've got like 5 chaos. So it worked in a League Start type scenario, and the build was a dream. Really, really enjoyed it. But then I do like these types of builds. In SSF though, if you just want to play this character, yes, it's okay. But if you're one of those people that doesn't mind what character they play first, they just want a smooth Atlas progression on a 5-link, get your Atlas completion done, then grind some currency to build your second character, then yeah, this build isn't for you as a League starter. And again, I would only recommend experienced players give it a go because it is difficult if you've not played bow characters before. It's by no means a breeze to get to where I've got to. So I would rather say people don't play this as a League start because I don't want lots of comments of people telling me they can't do yellow maps. There's a few ideas I've got for League start guys that are going to be a bit better suited to the overall player base and the majority of players. But I still need to look at patch notes when they come out to see if they're even viable. That's it for this episode. One more to come where we're going to go up to 24 hours and we'll see where we can get. Thank you very much for watching. Take care and see you in the next one.